Hey, I'm Sean from Hayden Custom Engines, and this is my '69 Chevy pickup. I drive this thing pretty much daily, and today we're going to be working on taking the old cheap gauges that I've got under the dash for the volts and water temp and oil pressure, and I bought a good set of Autometer gauges, and I'm going to make a custom panel to put them in and work on getting those installed in the truck. So tune in, and that's what we're going to be working on today. All right, so as you can see, I did not do this. Don't blame me. It was like this when I got the truck. Somebody butchered the radio hole pretty badly. And so I've got this set of gauges that I put in it when I put the truck together. But as you can see, the oil pressure gauge leaks. And I've noticed that the volt gauge doesn't seem to be terribly accurate. And so I bought a set of 2-inch Autometer gauges, the good auto, I can't remember what series they are, but they're the comp series gauges.
We'll put a link down below.
We'll have a link in the comments and description. And so I'm going to cut a piece of aluminum diamond plate. Hopefully it'll cover up these holes and fit here, and then the 3 gauges will fit and protrude through the opening, and that should look a whole lot better than this nasty butchered hole that I've been putting up with for like 5 years or 16 or 17, however long I've had the truck before I put it on the road. So let's get started. The first thing we got to do is just kind of take some measurements and figure out how. So, you know, I like even numbers. So I think 4 inches. I think 4 inches tall would work pretty well, maybe. You know what? I think we're going to do 4.5. We'll do 4.5 inches tall. And then I think we'll do like 11.5 inches wide. So 4.5 by 11, and that'll run the piece of diamond plate right over top of the ashtray. So it won't actually meet this surface, but it'll just kind of hang here, and it should be able to make it so that I can cover these holes up, and that should improve the way the inside of my truck looks, and hopefully I won't have an oil slick on my floor, and hopefully they'll be a little more accurate.
When I sit in the middle of the truck, I'm always sliding around because my feet are on that.
Or I have to make sure I clean it before she sits in the middle of the truck. Yeah. So, let's go see what we got hanging around to make this out of. Okay. So, I thought I had a little snafu. Think I'm okay. I forgot to make sure that this is relatively square. And this is. This edge here I think I've cut because I can see some dust on it from cutting previously. So I wouldn't trust this side to be halfway, but I mismeasured. So after regrouping and measuring properly, we'll get ourselves back and I see what I did. Okay. All right. Always pays to double check and measure and just make sure you're on the right track, because I was getting ready to screw up and all right. So now, like I said, we marked this generously so that we got some room to trim it and square it up and make it look good. What did we say? 11.5. So we'll just push it out here to 11. We'll put it at 11 and 11/16. All right. So we got our part marked out. Now I got to go find what I'm going to use to cut it out, and we'll get it cut out, and then we'll put it up on the milling machine and we'll square it. We're going to take and we'll mark the corners and just round them a little bit. We'll find a nice radius that looks good. Something maybe that looks about right with the radiuses on the gauge cluster and on the glove box door, and the radiuses on the, to try to make it look like it was sort of supposed to be there. And we'll go from there. All right. So, got my trusty old jigsaw with a bimetal blade in it. And usually I would use WD-40 or something like this to lubricate the blade while I'm cutting the aluminum, but my squirt bottle for the WD-40 died. So I'm going to use this heavy cutting oil. This is like a threading oil. It's made by Rigid. I use this a lot on my mill or my lathe for just cutting oil, and it will work fine for this. So we'll go ahead and take the jigsaw. We will cut this out, and then we'll get it over on the mill and square it and go from there. So we've got the vise off the mill, and we're ready to figure out how we're going to get the plate sitting on the mill firmly so that we can go ahead and square it up. And so in the next video, which will come out probably next week, maybe two, I'm not sure, go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to see this process, and ring the bell, and that way you'll get notified when we do get it up. And until then, keep on wrenching.